I was nothing but a broke sophomore working at a bubble tea shop, from a family that could barely get by. But for Olivia, that campus queen everyone worshipped, I threw away my leg in my last life. She tore into me like I was nothing, saying I never asked you to help me. My family was destroyed, I was crippled, and my parents lost their jobs and went bankrupt because of her rich boyfriend. We almost lost everything. Then I opened my eyes and somehow came back to life right before everything happened. Even that leg they had broken was good, as knew this time I did not run in to rescue her. I stayed back and watched her in that dark alley, watched her whisper in some thug's ear like she was flirting, telling him she wanted to be his official girlfriend. And when I used those lottery numbers I had memorized to strike it rich, when I bought out her rich boyfriend's competing factory and turned her into my spy inside their operation. She still thought I would grovel at her feet like I used to. She was even willing to wear a blindfold and do that kind of side job just to keep her. Perfect image. But she never imagined that one day in a hotel room, when she lifted that blindfold and saw the gross broke loser she always looked down on was now her new boss, she would completely lose it. Turns out the guy she had stepped on like dirt had already been holding everything he needed to destroy her. And the reason was simple. All because I wanted to help that so-called campus queen. I risked everything for the girl everyone called the campus queen. I threw myself in front of her to protect her from those street punks. And then those guys came after me for payback. They beat me so bad my leg snapped. The guy leading them, his dad, ran a whole factory. He even went after my mom, and Dad got our whole family fired. When things got really bad, I went to Olivia, that campus queen, hoping she would lend me something. She just rubbed her temples like I was annoying her. I never asked you to rescue me. She dropped those words like ice, and then she looked at me like I was disgusting and told me to get the hell out. Right then, every bit of young love and worship I had for her turned to ash in a second. When I opened my eyes again, I realized I had gone back to before it all happened. I woke up on that fold-out cot in the back of the bubble tea shop. I looked down and saw my leg was perfectly fine. I got so emotional, I started crying right there. Did I really come back to life, back to before I saved Olivia? I grabbed my phone right away to look at the date, May 6th, 2015. I would never forget that day. That was the day my leg got broken for saving Olivia, not in this life. I was done playing hero, and I was not going to save someone like Olivia, who never deserved it in the first place. My name is Lucas. I was a sophomore in college, not the sharpest guy around. It took everything I had just to get into this school. My family did not have much money once I got to college. I started working every job I could find, and it was while I was working that I met the girl everyone called the campus goddess. Olivia, she was always dressed to impress, and while I was running around like crazy at the tea shop or the barbecue grill, whenever I was working, I would always see Olivia working at other places too. Every time she showed up for a shift, she would cover herself up head to toe, like she was scared I might figure out who she was. But honestly, I could tell it was her from a mile away. I figured her family did not have much money either. That was why she was sneaking around to work these jobs. She dressed so fancy the rest of the time, probably because she was terrified of anyone finding out that she actually needed those side jobs to make ends meet, and she would be so embarrassed. I got it. Girls had their pride, so I never said a word about it. I just watched her from far away, kept to myself. She was seriously the most beautiful girl I had ever seen, hands down. If I said I did not have a crush on her, I would have been lying, but I also knew there was this invisible wall between us. So I always stayed back on purpose unless she talked to me first. I never just walked up to her out of nowhere. In my last life, one night when I was walking home from my shift, I saw a bunch of guys surrounding Olivia on the street corner. She was fighting like crazy. What do you want? Let go of me. But they did not care. The one in charge had this big gold chain hanging from his neck. He grinned all creepy and said, well, is not this Olivia from our school? I did not know you were hiding from everyone, sneaking off to work at a tea shop. If you needed cash, you could have just asked. You act all stuck up and untouchable. If you just behave and have some fun with me, you will never stress about money again. I do not want your money, Olivia snapped back. Her face like ice. Her face was so gorgeous it hurt to look at, but right then it was freezing cold. I did not really know her, but watching her get trapped like that, even at that time, I could not help myself. I ran and get off her. I yelled. I knew a little bit about fighting. I did not even think. I just threw myself in between her and those guys. What did you crawl out from? You bet you think you can mess with me. I will snap your leg right now. Then let us see you try to get away. Do not worry about me. I grit my teeth and stay in front of her. That guy's punch was almost in my face, but Olivia was still standing there. Not sure what to do, wondering if she should leave. I actually felt something right then. I thought Olivia had to be a good person facing down all those scary guys. She was still scared for me. Instead of just taking off, finally, after I kept telling her to go, Olivia clenched her jaw and ran away. And I took everything from them, one punch after another. One kick after another. It hurt so much. I blacked out. Some kind stranger took me to the hospital. The doctor checked the x-rays. He got this real serious look and said I was too hurt. That leg was probably never going to work right again. I would be crippled for life. My parents lost it right there. They were wailing about how unfair life was, saying their only son that they had worked so hard to raise was now a lame man. But that was only the start of how bad things got. That same punk who had attacked Olivia, he was the son of the guy who owned Thompson Furniture. He used his family's pull, got my mom and dad fired on the spot. Not only did our family lose all our money overnight, but they also pinned a $50,000 loss on us for no reason. $50,000. With what little we had saved up, we could not even come close to that. But the debt collectors did not give a damn. They showed up every day, pounding on our door. I watched my mom lose her mind from the pressure. So stressed she could not eat or sleep. Finally, she collapsed and ended up in the hospital. Just the daily room charges were a couple $100 a day. I did not have any friends back then, and nobody could loan me anything when I had nowhere left to turn. I thought of Olivia. The only reason I was in that mess was because I had helped her. You would think she would be willing to loan me something to get through it. I limped all the way to Olivia, but she would not give me a dime, and she looked at my leg like it was something gross. You deserved it. Who asked you to stick your nose where it did not belong? Olivia, how could you talk like that? I was just trying to help you. I tried to explain, but she would not hear it. She shoved me with all her strength. I hit the floor hard. Everything went dark, and I blacked out. These scenes from my last life ran through my head. I just felt this bitter taste. I could not put into words this time around. I promised myself I was not going to get involved in anything that was not my problem. And I locked up the shop and started walking home. On the way, I saw her again. Olivia went into that same narrow alley like always. And then that punk Jerry trapped her there. Jerry always looked like some hoodlum off the street, but his family was loaded. He just liked pretending to be a gangster, walking around town bothering girls all day. Olivia was probably just one of the many targets. He had his eye on. Almost no girl he went after ever got away clean, since she hated it when I got involved then. This time I would stay back and see what happened without me, how things would play out. Same as before. Jerry started with the same sleazy talk. Olivia kept her face cold and did not respond until he grabbed for her shirt. The way she reacted seemed more like she was just pretending to fight back. I stood there in shock. Next, when Jerry actually went in and kissed her, she actually seemed kind of embarrassed. All that cold, untouchable pride vanished in a second. She even got up close to Jerry's ear and said quietly, "Jerry, I will go out with you, but I want to be your actual girlfriend." Then she spoke louder on purpose. "Having a campus queen like me as your girl is not exactly beneath you." Right, I had to admit Olivia was really gorgeous, and her voice was so soft and sweet. She had Jerry totally wrapped around her finger. He kissed her right on the face again. "Sure thing. Campus queen, you are way better than those cheap street girls. Of course you are my girl." I saw something proud flash in Olivia's eyes, and right at that second it hit me all at once. So that was why she always took this trashy alley instead of the main street. No wonder she yelled at me for getting involved. So the person I thought I was saving her from was never a threat to her. It was her meal ticket. I felt sick come up from my stomach to my head. In my last life, I had given up my whole life for someone like her, someone who would sell anyone out for money. I had thrown everything away for all I knew. Even Jerry being in that alley tonight could have been her plan all along. I watched Olivia walk away with her arm linked through Jerry's. My chest felt like it was caving, and all that pain I had been through flashed through my head. I wanted to run over to her and slap her right across the face, but I had something bigger to take care of. Buying that lottery ticket. I would never forget those winning numbers. It was the same numbers from when the doctor told me my leg would never heal right again. The numbers they showed on the news after Jerry and his crew had snapped my leg. I burned those numbers into my brain. Then I limped to a lottery shop and bought one. This time around, tomorrow was where everything would turn around. The next day, I showed up at the tea shop like nothing was different, working while constantly checking the lottery numbers on my phone. The second I saw those numbers hit the weight I had Carrying finally dropped. I had done it this time. My whole life was going to change to keep from getting noticed. I put on a quick disguise and went to collect my winnings without making a fuss. I still showed up at the tea shop like nothing had changed. No one had any idea. I had already gotten myself a nice apartment in the city and 2 retail spaces on Main Street. I was going to rent one out for steady cash, the other one I was saving for my mom and dad to start their own business for the rest of their lives. They would never have to work for anybody else and get blamed for things they did not do and end up paying out of their own pocket, having a boss at the end of the day. You are letting someone else control your life this time. I just wanted to hold my own life tight in my own grip. Property prices in our little city were not crazy after getting the apartment and the shops. I still had almost 100,000 left. I started thinking about investing in stocks. Truth is, I had always liked researching the market. I just never had the money to get in now. I finally had something to work with. I sucked it up, picked out a few stocks that had exploded in my last life, dumped 30,000 into them. So nobody would catch on. I still clocked in at the tea shop every day like clockwork until those stocks really took off, and I had made what I needed. Only then did I quietly hand in my resignation. One day I was wiping down the counters at work when I saw Olivia walk through the door. This Olivia standing there was not the same girl at all, the one who used to show up in a mask and had to work shifts. She was all done up fancy, carrying some limited edition designer purse. She came in by herself and ordered the most expensive milkshake on the menu. Without even looking back in the day, she never would have wasted money like that. Jerry's cash had totally transformed her. I could not stop myself from glancing at her, and she gave me this nasty look back like I was something. Ross stuck to the bottom of her shoe. What are you staring at? You broke piece of trash. You are not even good enough to look at me. Right at that second, everything suddenly made sense. All that sweet caring act she used to put on, that was just because she was too broke to act any other way. That cold, untouchable image she always kept up was just a front to hide how insecure she really was. She had spent her whole life pretending to be someone she was not, just to hide that cheap, shallow side of her. Wrap it up tight so nobody would see. That thought sent a chill right through me. I did not say a thing. I passed her the drink. She had asked for whether it was her long nails or she was just clumsy. She could not keep the cup steady. The whole thing went all over her. Do you even know how to work? Clean this up right now. It was obviously her own fault, but she was still yelling at me like I was the one who did it, like she was talking to a servant. I swallowed my anger, grabbed a rag, and wiped her down. Then Jerry walked through the door. He saw me wiping off Olivia. He lost it right there. What are you doing to my girl, you worthless piece of garbage? Jerry came stomping over. He grabbed Olivia and pulled her against him, put his arm right over her shoulder like he was marking his territory. Watching all of this, I had my fists balled up so tight under the counter. In my last life, these were the same 2 people who had destroyed my leg, who had put my mom in intensive care this time. You I were going to pay for what they did. Jerry always looked like a street rat. He did not even say 2 things before he kicked me right in my leg. I gripped my teeth and swallowed down the rage. I knew it. I was not anywhere close to being able to take on Jerry yet, and I could not start a war with him right now. I hung my head bent down a little, made myself look small and scared. I am so sorry, sir. This lady spilled her drink by accident. It was her own doing. I was just trying to help clean her up. I did not mean anything by it. My explanation did not make Jerry happy at all. He just sneered. You listen to me. I've got your face memorized. This is just a warning. If I catch you near my girl again, getting this close to her, I will put you down for good. You already broke my leg in my last life. That thought ran through my head. Behind my downcast eyes, the hate was practically on fire. I had already paid $5,000 to hire someone to dig into Jerry's dad's factory. I did not buy it for a second. The parents who raised someone like him were good, honest people. Their whole operation was probably dirty. Luckily, those stocks I picked kept climbing. They had already tripled. I pulled the trigger, sold everything I had. My account was suddenly up 200,000. I had my eye on a little furniture factory in town called Thompson Furniture. It was not huge, but it had a pretty good name. The key thing was it was going head to head with Jerry's dad's business. Thompson was bleeding cash, about to go under. I figured 200,000 should be enough to buy the whole place. The plan was coming together in my mind. First, buy out this factory, then compete directly with Jerry's family. I had too much going on lately. I could not keep staying in the dorm, and I did not want my roommates to get suspicious. So I just came up with some excuse, said I was renting an apartment off campus. But really, I checked into a hotel. They had maids to clean. I did not have to worry about any of that. Plus, that new place I bought was getting renovated. Once it was done, I would bring my mom and dad over, give them a real surprise that night. When I got back to the hotel, someone slipped a little card under my door. I was 22, you could tell exactly what that kind of card was, the kind they always shoved under hotel doors. The card was all flashy and loud, saying something like, "Innocent college girl, $100 a night." I laughed to myself, using the college girl angle to sell themselves. How innocent could they really be? I had zero interest in girls like that. I threw it in the trash without thinking. But before long, something else came under the door this time. It was not a card, it was a flyer. It had these pictures on it with blurred out faces. The poses were so obvious, all labeled as college students. I wanted to find someone too. Do not get me wrong, but I was not that desperate. I was going to rip it up, but then one of the pictures caught my eye. The blurring was not done well on that one. That face looked kind of familiar. I looked at it for a few seconds, and my heart jumped the longer I stared. The more it looked like Olivia. No way, she was with Jerry now. She could not be that broke. Why would she be doing something like this? But curiosity was eating at me. I could not stop myself. I dialed the number on the flyer. "Hello, I want to book your number 5. But she has to keep the blindfold on the whole time." I ended the call, was kind of nervous for some reason, paced around the room a few times. A little later, someone knocked softly. A woman with a blindfold on was brought in. I stared without looking away. The shape of her body, the way she moved, it was her. Olivia. She was already with Jerry, and now she was doing this. Her dress was as short as it could be. The top was cut so low, it was almost nothing. Every little thing she did was this fake practice sexiness. She used to look at me like I was just some broke loser working for minimum wage, and now I was her customer. You could even say I was her meal ticket for the night. The irony was so thick you could cut it with a knife. I made my voice low on purpose, so she would not know it was me. "Go lie down on the bed." Olivia did what I said. She got on the bed, just like I asked. Her body was glowing in the dim light. It made my chest feel tight. Honestly, I had never even had a real girlfriend. I had never seen anything like this, facing someone half naked, throwing herself at me like that. Even if I was furious, my body was having a hard time not reacting. But then I thought about how disgusting she really was, and I felt like someone had thrown ice water all over me. I did not want to go near her at all. I made her change positions and move around, and I took pictures with my phone. Those pictures would be my best weapon against Olivia. And Jerry, the strongest proof I had. I kept telling her what to do. Then she got up close to my ear, her voice all sweet and soft. "You really do not want me at all, do you, handsome?" I had to admit for a second, I actually felt something, especially when her hands, smelling like that perfume, slipped under my shirt and started moving around. But then those awful memories from my last life came flooding back into my head, and I snapped back to reality. I liked pretty girls as much as the next guy, but I was not going to grovel for someone like Olivia, this two-faced liar who pretended to be so pure, but was really filth. I shoved her off me, turned around, opened the door, and walked out. I could hear her whispering curses behind me. I paid for the night. Whether I actually touched her, that was my call the next day. I went to the tea shop like always, and sure enough, it did not take long. Olivia came clicking in on her heels again. She had a new designer purse with her. If I had not known what she was really like behind closed doors, just from how she looked, you would have thought she was some rich girl from a wealthy family. She still looked down on me with that same attitude. She noticed me staring for a second too long and got annoyed right away. "What? You have never seen a girl before? Stop staring. I have a boyfriend." I laughed to myself. She already forgot how she acted last night. Did she not remember how she was grinding on me, begging me to stay with her? A woman like this was just the absolute worst. I wanted to get back at her. So that night, I made another call, booked number 5 again. She showed up with the blindfold on again. The second I walked in, I slapped her across the face 2 times. Then I started messing with her on purpose, got her so turned on she could barely stand. She was practically begging, trying everything to get me in bed with her, and I just looked at her with cold eyes, not planning to give her anything. "Baby, please." Olivia was whining in my ear all soft, but I looked at her pretty face, and I did not want her at all. I yanked off her blindfold. I smiled and said, "Olivia, open your eyes and see who I am." The second she heard her name, she flinched hard. When she realized it was me, her face went pale as a ghost. "Lucas, what are you doing here?" She was panicking, screaming in this high-pitched voice. "What do you want, a broke loser like you actually willing to spend $100 on a call girl? I thought you were just some poor student who studied all the time." That is hilarious. She knew exactly what she was there for. Campus queen. "Olivia, I was the one who called and ordered her up here. You are exactly the number 5 I booked. If you're selling yourself, you have no right to ask where my money came from." I towered over her. All I felt was pure disgust and contempt. She still thought of me as nothing more than that broke nobody, and she thought she was the goddess up on a pedestal. So having me see her like this was driving her insane. With shame, her face twisted up. Lucas, what do you want from me? What do you think? I shot back. Olivia got it all wrong. She thought I was still after her looks. She actually got down on her knees like that was what I wanted. This is what you want, is not it? She whispered through clenched teeth. I will be with you tonight. You could do anything you want. Just promise me that you will not tell anyone about this. If you say anything, what are you going to do about it? Call the cops? I scoffed. I have not touched you at all. If they come and take someone away, it would not be me. Olivia, you think you are in any position to negotiate with me right now? I took out my phone and scrolled through all the pictures I'd taken, every pose, every angle. You could see everything. What do you really want? I saw fear flicker in her eyes. When did you take those, Lucas? You are disgusting. I knew her inside out. Olivia was a gold digger, but she could keep a rich guy like Jerry on her hook while pretending to be all untouchable and classy, like she was above it all. What she valued most was her image in front of everyone and her precious reputation. And now what I had in my hands was the proof that this untouchable campus queen was secretly working as an escort on the side. Once all of this got out, the campus queen would be a joke to the whole school. And since we went to the same school, of course, she was scared of me. Watching her shake like a leaf, I could not hold back my cold laugh in my last life. When I was the one begging, was I not just as pathetic as she was right now? And how did she answer me? She said, I should not have gotten involved, told me to get the hell out. That was the final thing that broke me. I reached out and squeezed her chin, my voice like ice. I want you to stay with Jerry and then go work at his dad's factory. You're an accounting major. Are not you? You can get into that place. Look into the books. That should not be too hard for you. His family's factory is full of corruption and stolen money. You will find something. I had already paid someone to look into it. Jerry's dad's place. The person I hired gave me the first report. The books looked clean on paper, but what they were actually spending did not line up with what they got from the government. The second I found that out, I made my mom and dad quit right away. At first, they did not trust me, thought I was making things up until I sent them $50,000. Then they changed their tune real fast. Now they were just waiting for me to finish the place so they could move in and finally relax, never having answered another boss again. But I did not have the hard proof yet. I could not take down Jerry's dad yet. And Olivia was the perfect weapon. The second she heard what I wanted, she wanted to say no right away. She started yelling like she was spitting fire. Lucas, you are out of your mind. Why would I help you go after my own boyfriend? I am not helping you get that out of your head. You loser. Olivia had always looked down on poor students like me. Every word out her mouth was a knife. She was the kind of shallow person who only cared about money, not about people. She did not get it, that she was already in my trap. I had her right where I wanted her. Oh, really? Fine then. I switched it up then. I will send these videos to Jerry first, and after that I will put them on the school's Facebook page. How does that sound? Our weekly campus queen might just turn into the joke of the week. I said it real slow on purpose, one word at a time. When that happens, everyone will find out that goddess you all worship is actually dirtier than some random street girl. Those words hit her right where it hurt the most. Olivia started screaming right away. No, you cannot send those pictures to anyone. Then do exactly what I tell you. If I just let Jerry see this stuff, do you think he would spend another dime on you? I gave her a cold once over. This woman standing there half undressed for a second. I really could not figure out what was wrong with me in my last life that I ever had feelings for someone like her. Olivia's face went purple with rage. She pointed at me with a shaking finger. Lucas, I did not know you were this dirty. She almost made me laugh right there, like I was this terrible villain or something. I am the dirty one, and our precious campus queen Olivia is so innocent. Is not she selling your body, hanging on to your rich boyfriend? That makes you so much better than me, the sneaky little villain who actually works for a living. I could not hide the mockery in my eyes, having me stare at her like that. She was stunned for a moment. She ground her teeth. Lucas, do not push it so. Are you going to do what I say? In that short silence, her face was twitching like she was swallowing broken glass. In the end, she barely got out the words, fine, I will do it. She shot me a hateful look and added, but when this is over, you have to erase every single picture, or I swear I will come after you. I will not let you hold this over me forever. Of course, I nodded. When this is done, we are square. Why would I keep your pictures? I did not know whether it was when I said I was not interested or that we would be done after I deleted them. Which one cut her deeper? Because in her mind, someone like me was supposed to see her as this untouchable goddess. She was quiet for a Few seconds, then something snapped in her face shifted, she smirked at me, and gave me a flirty look, and her hand went for my belt. Lucas, are you sure you do not want me? Olivia was testing to see if she still had her power. As the campus queen trying to hook me again with her body, I played along and pulled her close just as she thought I was about to do what all her other clients did. I leaned into her ear and said quietly, sorry. Olivia, I do not like girls who were this filthy in my past life. If she had ever come to me like this, I probably would have been up all night from how happy I was. But now that I knew who she really was, I did not want her at all. I did not want to touch her. It just made me sick. If she had just stuck with that loser Jerry, I might have actually respected her a little. At least she would have committed to someone. But the way she was now selling herself for money until she had no value left, that was the real disgusting part. If she was already doing this on the side, then her working at the tea shop was probably just an act just so she could run into Jerry and get him to come after her, then let herself become his girl. Thinking about all of that, I pushed Olivia down onto the floor. Lucas, she yelled in anger. I was done wasting words on her. I just told her to remember what I had asked and not to forget what she agreed to. Sure enough, 2 weeks later, Olivia started working at Jerry's dad's factory, doing accounting in her finance department. Using the fact that she was the owner's son's girlfriend, she strutted around like she was the boss with this smug look on her face. I knew getting hard proof of their embezzlement and tax fraud was not going to be simple. So besides her, I put someone else in there too to slip into their accounting department to help out and to keep an eye on Olivia going up against someone like this. Especially Olivia, who would turn on you in a second. I had to watch my back every step of the way. Meanwhile, I was busy on my own side too. I had already finished all the paperwork for that furniture factory and officially became the owner. I went after the lumber supplier that Jerry's dad had always used and offered more money than they could match, took most of their supply for myself. So now they could either pay more to fight over what was left or run out and shut down when everything was in place. I won. T to the factory to see Olivia. She had texted me a few days before telling me she had found something in the books. These are last year's records, and these are this year's. Spending is $50,000 more than last year, but the inventory numbers are identical. They inflated the price per unit on the cheap. Would buy $50,000. Olivia passed me her phone. She had taken pictures of the ledger. On the sly, she frowned as she spoke. At this rate, they're dodging at least $50,000 in taxes. It was clear she had actually done her homework. I looked over the numbers. The problem was obvious, but this alone would not bring them down. I raised my head and looked at her. Olivia, whenever Jerry and his dad go out to entertain clients, you find a way to tag along and see what you can find out. When men get drunk and there are women sitting next to them, their mouths get loose real fast. I had already done my digging since I had choked off their would supply Jerry's dad had been trying to G.E.T. in good with the government official named Director Miller. This Director Miller was the brother-in-law of the biggest lumber supplier in town. If you make him happy, slip him some cash, he can pull strings for them. Jerry's dad knew that. So he was dead set on bribing his way through. I had thought about it too, whether I should dig up his old bribery records, but that stuff never leaves much of a paper trail. Then I had a better idea. Why not just force him to do it again? I just needed to set up another meeting where he would have to bribe someone and then have Olivia capture everything on camera and recording that would be ironclad proof. I thought it was a good plan. Olivia considered it, nodded, and said, fine. I will find a way to be there, Jerry. Trust me. These days, the second the words left her mouth, Jerry showed up right in front of us looking furious. He must have been having dinner with his buddies nearby. He looked over and saw me sitting with Olivia, and his face dropped. You again? What are you doing with my girlfriend? He started yelling and ran toward us, his fist pulled back, followed by a whole crew of his buddies watching this. I had already lived through this once before. When I faced it again, my body still flinched, but I got it under control. Fast, once bitten, twice shy. I had some money now, so I usually had two guys with me following close by. If Jerry and his friends tried anything, my guys would step in and teach them a real lesson. Jerry, you have got it all wrong. Olivia jumped in. Lucas and I just bumped into each other. We had classes together before, same class. So we just said a few words. Good thing I'd already paid for the coffee and the waiter had cleared the table. Otherwise, it would not be a good time to start a fight before I finished off Jerry's family's whole operation. I needed to keep who I really was under wraps. Olivia grabbed Jerry's arm right away and twisted the knife with a sugary sweet voice. Yeah, honey, do not worry about it. With a boyfriend like you, why would I ever want anybody else? Jerry was eating it up. He stood up a little taller. Damn, Right, a campus queen like Olivia with a guy like me would never go for some broke loser. A guy like him, he thinks he can compete with me. Jerry still thought I was just a bug he could crush whenever he wanted no money. No connections. What he did not know was that this little bug was about to bring down his whole world. This was going to tear apart his whole perfect rich boy life. But Jerry was not done with me. He stuck his finger right in my face. We're both guys here. I know what you are up to. You think I'm blind. You want my girl. Do not even think about it. Then he slapped me twice, looking like he wanted to kill me. Fine. I understand. I said it low. I knew when to back down. I was not going to let my ego get in the way and fight him right there. But Jerry was not done with just yelling after the slaps. He kicked me in the leg again. That is for looking at my girl. Come on. Guys, I will cover for you. Pain shot up my leg. Just like before, he was following the same plan to destroy me again. Just as they were about to start wailing on me, I did not let them get close. I called out, Jack. Henry, get in here. Jack and Henry were the guys I paid good money to protect me. They were ex-military, built like tanks. They looked like two brick walls next to them. Jerry and his crew, who spent their days drinking and picking up girls, were nothing. They beat me so bad last time just because there were so many of them, and they fought me and take them all out. I said it cold. Jerry looked surprised that I had backup. He let out a string of curses. The next second, all his buddies were dropped by Jack and Henry. One punch each, all on the floor, howling like babies, and my guys were not even breathing hard, did not even break a sweat watching his friends drop. Jerry's tough guy act finally started to crumble. The first time I saw real fear in his eyes. Lucas, who the hell are you? Or not you, just some broke college kid? How can you pay for guys like this? When he said that, even Olivia looked at me differently. All that anger and resentment from before was still there, but now there was something else. Shock, almost respect. I scoffed. None of your business. I did the same thing he had done to me, hit him twice across the face, snapped his head to the side. You're going to pay for this. Jerry held his face and spat out the words. Since we were already done pretending, I was done playing the shy kid. Once his dad and Director Miller were done with their dinner, he was finished just like I had planned. Olivia got herself into that dinner where Jerry's dad and Director Miller were, whining and dining. At first, Director Miller tried to say no, did not want to come, but Jerry kept sucking up to him, toasting him and kissing his ass, and finally, he gave in. I figured Jerry was trying to prove something. He was scared that Olivia might think I was better than him. So he went all out to impress her. Olivia had mentioned once that she was curious about those kinds of dinners. So he got her a spot. And sure enough, when the dinner was over, the director and Director Miller got together and made the deal. The money got passed. And everyone deaded like they were supposed to. And Olivia captured everything important on her phone without anyone noticing. Meanwhile, Jerry was more full of himself than ever, thinking Director Miller had his back, and I could not touch him. First thing the next morning, he was waiting for me outside the dorm. What he did not know was that I already had everything from that dinner in my hands, already the whole case. I had already sent it to the right people. With everything they had pulled, they were almost certainly going to be in deep trouble, and Jerry had no clue. He did not know his dad had already been brought in for questioning. He still got on my face like he owned the place. Lucas, this time, I brought a Taekwondo champ. Even with your guys, they cannot save a loser like you. He had some big guys with him, looked like the real deal. But so what, his whole family was about to be gone. Oh, really? I scoffed and hit him right in the chest instead of wasting time trying to scare me. Why do not you go see what has happened? At your family's factory, see if it is going under, or if you and your old man are about to go away for a few years. No way. Jerry's face went pale. My dad runs that place, and he has Director Miller on his side. What are you even saying? You were the one. Just wait until Director Miller comes after you. And your dad, he figured I was full of it. He was about to get even angrier and was getting ready to hit me again. Then one of his friends came running up, totally out of breath. Jerry, we have a problem. What? Jerry's face went white. He forgot all about me and ran off in a panic. By that evening, word was already going around their furniture factory had been shut down. All their money was frozen. Jerry and his dad were both taken in for bribery and fraud, both of them in custody. What was coming for them was just the prison doors. All that rage I had been holding for 2 lives finally let go. I felt so much lighter. Just then, Olivia came walking over to me. Lucas, you can delete those pictures now. I did everything you told me to. There is nothing between us now. Do not worry. I nodded. I keep my promises. You did your part, so I will delete them. And as for us, I do not want anything to do with you either. Then my assistant hurried over. Mr. Lucas, Mr. Joe from Horizon Group is here. He wants to take you to dinner. Sure, I will be right there. Olivia just stood there staring at me like she could not believe it. Mr. Lucas, that is right, I answered quietly. That new furniture company, that is mine. When she heard that, her face fell. She looked like she wanted to die of regret. That was probably when it hit her how badly she had misjudged me. She reached for my sleeve like she had more to say. I chuckled and pulled away. Miss Olivia, please, have some dignity. You said it yourself, there is nothing between us. As she stood there staring, I walked away. Soon after, I brought my mom and dad to the new place. Finally, they could stop struggling just to get by in this life. I did not repeat my mistakes. I did not save the campus queen this time. I made my own legend. This story isn't about revenge. It's about reclaiming your worth after being crushed by someone who never saw it. Lucas didn't win by becoming cruel. He won by finally refusing to let a toxic person define his value. He learned that love isn't supposed to cost you your dignity, your family, or your future. And sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do isn't to prove anything to the person who hurt you. It's to walk away, rebuild yourself, and never look back. Letting go of someone who only takes from you isn't weakness. It's the first real act of self-respect. Your peace isn't found in their regret. It's found in your own freedom.